Hello and welcome back to ChäoS Head Noah. My name is Maybe Dennis, and last time we finished off Senna's route. After being saved by Hato no Ise, we got contacted by the Committee of 300, who essentially provided us a cheat code on how to get this ending. We had to go to a coin locker, get whatever item is there, and like kill it, and then we get the cheat code. And Senna and Takumi eventually decided to go there and try out the cheat code, and Ise Hatano continued to talk to the Committee of 300, only to be blown up along with the entire building. So now Ise Hatano is dead. But Senna and Takumi go to the coin locker just to find a baby, a live baby for some reason. And after Senna essentially refused to kill the baby, while Takumi really wanted the cheat code. But Sue ended up coming over and like shooting the baby, so the baby ended up being dead. Takumi got shot to shit, and later they were saved by by Rimi, who came over and sliced Asua's hand. So Senna and Takumi went over to where Noah 2 was and tried to, activate the cheat code and bring down Noah 2. There was some fighting with some of the Divine Church believers, but at the end, Senna and Takumi were gravely injured, but managed to make a last hurrah and fire off a giant beam, goddammit, in order to finish off Noah 2. And that's how the ending ended. Momose at the end turned out she was actually the person who was talking to them. She was a member of the Committee of 300, and she revealed that Takumi and Senna died, but also somehow the baby ended up living. But yeah, that was my favorite ending so far. Right now we're going to tackle the next ending, which is Kozue's ending. And according to this guide, the first choice we're supposed to make is here, where we meet Senna for the first time, and the choice we're supposed to make is a positive one. And I'm gonna skip through this. I'll actually show the scene because it's one of my favorite because it's hilarious. But it's the feet one. I don't know why that's necessary for Kozue's, but apparently it was. But I'll see you when we make another choice. Oh, here we go. Honestly, I realized this while looking at the guide, but all the delusions we have to make are just gonna be positive ones. I think this is the one where we were like, oh, Ayase ends up confessing to Takumi or something. I think I end up doing a lot of these endings, or not endings, a lot of these choices already, so a lot of them are gonna be skipped over. Okay, we just talked to the cops, and as I said, positive delusion, go. Oh, here is our last delusion. As I said, it's a positive one, but I can kind of see why they decide to stop here, because this is where we meet Kozue for the first time. I don't know if I've done this already, but no. If only she was some kind of hero, sent to defeat the demon girl for me. Rimi's potential presence was weighing on me so heavily. I was starting to wish for the impossible. My entire life was slowly being taken over. At this rate, I was sure to be killed soon. Oh! The transfer student whispered, staring into my eyes. Did that mean? Oh, okay, she came here to save me? Yeah, of course she did, just for you. The transfer student is a professional exorcist. Whatever it takes to get rid of Rimi. Her wimpy looks are actually some kind of camouflage. Of course, she's wielding a gigantic sword underneath that exterior. She's here to kill Rimi. Yes, to get rid of all your problems for you. You two kill each other. No, I'm gonna survive. And now we are locked into Kozue's ending. I will destroy the demon. The transfer student's eyes were teary, but there was an intense power in them. She looked so weak, but her words felt strong. She must have looked like a crazy person to the rest of the class. The other students were all staring at her, uncertain of how to react to her strange words. But in my heart, I was overjoyed. I was saved. Some exorcist organization must have sent her to defeat Rimi for me. Hooray! Get her, please! I could hear the fear in Rimi's voice from behind me. I didn't really care which of them was a demon anymore. Kill each other! That'll make it a net positive for me.
僕はブラチューと演出をして毎日を平穏に過ごせればそれでいいんだ。お前たちがどうなろうか知ったことじゃない。とりあえず2人で殺し合ってくれると助かる。で、相打ちで2人とも死亡ってエンディングを希望。
What a hero. Tension filled the room at my words. A transfer student whose name I didn't even know, and a demon girl who wasn't even a part of this class 2 days ago. The two girls were glaring at each other from front and back of the classroom, ready to launch themselves into battle. The teacher and my other classmates were just watching, helplessly. Alright, let's get it on!
タクの言う通りにしてあげる。私も異論はないです。
です。
殺してあげろ。暗殺者。あなたを殺します、悪魔さん。
They just overlapped. The two flung themselves into an epic battle. Not fit for TV. Which, of course, never actually happened. The transfer student was still standing there, timidly, not even saying a word. Rimi wasn't screaming or crying. I didn't even know if Rimi was actually here in the room. The class started to murmur louder as it became clear that the transfer student wasn't going to say a word. The teacher gave her a reassuring pat on the shoulder.
どうやら折原は緊張しているようだな。よし、挨拶はいい。みんな、この子は折原梢だ。仲良くしてやってくれ。折原、席は一番後ろだ。席についていいぞ。
The transfer student bowed silently and started to walk towards me. Wait, there's a rumbling apparently. Her seat would be 4 rows behind me. I thought about pretending to follow her with my eyes as she walked so I could look back and see who was there. But if I did, I'd stand out a lot. Some DQNs might see me and say, "Don't stare at the transfer student just because she's cute," then try to beat me up. What should I do? Turn around or wait until homeroom ended? My head drooped as I squeezed my fist tightly. It was no good. I didn't have the courage. But I turned around and saw her. Huh? The transfer student passed by me. I gasped and looked at her. Our eyes met, but she quickly turned away and passed me by. That voice. It was a delusion, right? Maybe I was under so much stress that I was starting to lose sight of the distinction between delusion and reality. In the end, I stayed there trembling in my seat without the courage to look around. I focused on trying to calm my fear of Rimi, who I was sure was watching me. While fast forwarding, I just realized something. Usually, in each one of the endings, they have like a special scene that kind of revolves around the character that the ending is going to be for. Like on Senna's ending, we got the extra scene where Senna was in this car actually reminiscing about her father. And in Nanami's ending, we got the scene where she sees Rimi and she's like, "How do I even know you?" So I feel like the scene we're gonna see here is going to be, okay, I was wrong. Had to interrupt me. I thought it was gonna be the part where she kind of bumped into Takumi. No, or maybe when she like fell down the stairs or something, and Takumi was gonna actually do something instead of just walk past. But I guess I was wrong. Classes for the day had ended, and the relaxed atmosphere of the after-school hours was permeating in the school. Kozue Orihara was walking slowly and unsteadily towards the school gate. She was looking down on the ground, and her gait was unsteady, her expression was flat, and her eyebrows were tensed up, like she was trying not to burst into tears at any moment. She just transferred to the school, and she was alone here. She'd known from the start that she would be. Oh, are we going to see how she meets Senna? She almost never tried to talk to anyone. Even during class, if a teacher called on her to solve a problem or read a paper, she would just sit there and fidget with tears in her eyes. None of the students or teachers at the school had ever heard her speak. Once she put up walls, even the students who were interested in talking to the new girl soon gave up. There were 1 or 2 weird classmates who were still trying to talk to her, but she never opened up to them. But even so, it didn't bother her too much. She made a friend, even if it was only one. Not a classmate, but an older student. Yeah, it's that, they were the one person that she could trust in the strange new city of Tokyo that she just moved to. She didn't want any other friends. She didn't want to get along with her other classmates. She just wanted to be left alone, she thought. It was dusk, and children were laughing and running around the lake at Shoto Park. A young boy with a beaming smile ran past her as she walked down the park's path. He was holding a cute little hand mirror shaped like an elephant. Oh no, it's a mirror! Oh no! Two housewives, probably the children's parents, were talking to each other in loud voices. Kozue could hear them speaking clearly.
三面鏡の怪奇ビデオっていうのがものすごく怖いのよ。
あら、そうなの？私それ知らないわ。でも、三面鏡って？
Yeah, I have no idea what a sanmenkyo is.
ほら、あれよ。鏡。3つ並んでるやつ。
Three mirrors lined up in a row.
ああ、鏡ね、三面鏡。それで、どんな怪奇ビデオなの？
Oh, they're gonna randomly throw out the who am I thing, and she's gonna go into PTSD mode. Kozue realized that she'd come to a stop in front of the bench. A cold sweat had beaded on her forehead. The two housewives stopped and looked at her suspiciously. She came back to her senses and got out of the park as fast as she could. Mirrors. For Kozue, mirrors were a traumatic thing connected to a past that she didn't want to remember, but she felt memories coming back and tried her best to stop them. Kozue told herself she was being ridiculous and headed back to the station. Seroton, yes, the DVD, $8.27 on sale. When she got to Bunkamachi, light got into her eyes. It was dazzlingly bright. Kozue shivered. She had to deal with this a lot before she'd moved. Reflection from mirrors. The nightmares came back and her mind started to panic. Was it a coincidence or was somebody doing it deliberately? It had to be a coincidence, she prayed as she looked around. There was a white station wagon parked a bit away from her. Its driver was a man she didn't know, and he was leaning out the car. In his hand was a mirror. He looked like he was adjusting it. The light hit her eyes again and again. Terrified, she put her hands up to block it out, and then ran across the crossway as fast as she could. Well, I'm glad you didn't get into a traffic accident. That could have been real bad. Her mind was filled with terror and confusion. She wanted to get home as fast as she could. She didn't want to be here. The tears came streaming down her face. It had to be a coincidence, she kept telling herself. She wiped the tears away with her fingertips. And then, another mirror. The light hit her once more. The brightness violated her eyes with a stabbing pain. The white station wagon had followed her. The man had gotten back inside, but his arm was still poking out. He still had the mirror in his hand. Oh no, she's scared now. The next thing she knew, she was running as fast as she could, all the way to the station. She pushed her way through the crowd, knocking into a few passerbys again and again. They glared at her, and a few complained, but she was too scared to stop. When she made it to the front of the station, the white station wagon had stopped at a red light at Scramble Crossing. She hid behind the Hachiko statue, wrapping her arms tightly around her body and trying to catch her breath. What was that? She couldn't think straight. She just kept telling herself, it's a coincidence, it's a coincidence, it's a coincidence, it's a coincidence.
セーラー服萌え
That was a really random ass comment. Her head jerked up. It was a boy, about college age, who was evidently waiting for someone in front of the station. He was standing with his back towards her. He said the words softly into the phone he was holding. They echoed in her mind. Sailor uniforms are so hot. Sailor uniforms on fire? He never turned towards her. The phone's... Oh my god. He's just repeating in the background. Sailor, Sailor, Sailor. It kind of sounds like Seda, but like Seroton, but I know it's not the same. The phone stayed up at his ear. She thought that maybe he was listening to somebody on the phone. But he didn't nod or say anything at all. He was just standing there. Was he really on the phone? Oh, thank God. My Memory Bride is from Seto. It's such a great show. Oh, wait. I think I've watched that. I only watched a few episodes, but I do remember it was a little bit dated, but it was really funny. He spoke softly again. This time, she had no idea what he meant, but she heard another word, Seto, which reminded her of her awful past. Her body started shaking. She couldn't even look at the man anymore. She was too scared. She just crouched down and covered her ears. A coincidence. It was a simple coincidence. She kept saying that to herself again and again. She stayed there for over an hour, and nobody talked to her at all. When she looked up again, the college kid was gone. Was Seto the region that she was from? I don't know. See you next time. Oh, we have a new scene. This is, I think, this is literally when, I think Takemi's getting beat up by, like, the 3 DQNs. And this is probably where Kozue, quote-unquote, saves him. In a deserted back alley in Center Street, you could hear the faint panting of a girl named Kozue Orihara. Oh god! She was holding a huge sword in her hands. No, it was shaped so curiously that it wasn't clear if it was a sword at all. It was more like a snowboard than a weapon. But the edge was impossibly sharp, and its surface was dangerously solid. A swing from it would be enough to sever someone's head, bone and all, in an instant. Dark red blood clung to the blade, dropping off the edge. A young man was crawling on the ground in front of her. There were pools of filthy water all around him, but he was still trying to crawl as far away from her as he could. Kozue was looking down on him, smiling happily. Oh my god, I can just imagine her and her evil, like, blank eyes. There was no sign of her usual timorous demeanor. If anything, she looked like she was having the time of her life. Her cheeks were even flushed with excitement. Her blade had just brutally, mercilessly sliced through 2 of the man's Oh, okay, in this ending we can see, I guess, her actually killing them. She wouldn't kill them, but she was gonna make the people suffer. Never mind, she did not kill them. The 3 young punks were covered in blood, their faces puffed up with bruises. A moment ago, they'd been bullying Kozue's classmate, Takemi Nishijo. Kozue could hear the voices in people's hearts. As she'd happened to pass by the alley, she heard several disgusting voices. Creepy yuck, don't mess with me, psychic. Die, I'll smash your face in. Creepy punch, die, psychic. Shut up my life shit, I'll take it out on you. My girlfriend dumped me yesterday. Maiko, don't screw around with me. I'll feel better if I hit you. Shut up. Die, fake psychic. I'll take my problems out on you. Die. He told me to. He told me to. He told me to can get money. Get lots of money. So punch money, make him suffer, kill him, money, kill. Feels good hurting people. Feels so good. This is awesome. It feels so good. I'm fighting back against society, so I'm awesome. The cops, the teachers, my mom, probably nobody can stop me now. I'm so awesome, so cool. I look so badass kicking his ass. I want to kill you. Among the ugly voices, there was one that was powerful and full of hate. By the time she realized it was the voice of Takemi's heart, Kozue was already there. And then she'd beaten up the bad guys. Only one more needed to suffer for justice to be done. The threat would be removed, both for Takemi Nishijo and for her. So even when the young man tried to run away, Kozue wouldn't let him. Don't hurt me, I'll die, I'll kill you, bitch. Die, don't want to die. No, don't kill me, I'll kill you and rip out your organs. She'll kill me, no, I want to live. I want to have more fun and feel good more. He was begging her in his mind to let him go. Kozue's smile remained bright on her face. Just look at her. As she grabbed him by the hair and pulled him to his feet. The young man was far larger than she was, but it didn't matter. He didn't even have the energy left to fight back, it seemed. There were tears in his eyes as he begged the tiny girl for forgiveness. But Kozue's answer wasn't the one he wanted. Soundlessly, she mouthed the word no. Oh my god. I'm gonna get you. The huge blade roared, flying towards him. Whoosh. A single strike shattered his jawbone. His scream echoed. He fell to the ground in agony. His blood threatened to spill onto Kozue's clothes. She used her sword as a shield to block it. See? No evidence. Then she nodded, satisfied, and made her sword disappear. She glanced down at Takemi Nishijo, who was lying on the cold ground, a corner of the alley. As she panted, she whispered in her mind, I want to kill them for you, but this will have to do. Ooh. Ah, that extra scene. Man, she's really unhinged. Like really unhinged, and now she's all cute again.
またあの車だ。
Okay. We started chapter 7. It went by so fast, I kind of missed the title, so I'll be right back. Oh god. The title is called A Disease That Leads to Slaughter. What the hell? Kozue, what are you gonna do? That car again. Kozue Orihara was standing frozen in front of the Shinsen station. She'd been going home from here, rather than Shibuya, for the past few days. She made this decision after the white car had chased her around in front of the Shibuya station. And now, the same car was here, like it was waiting for her. Conspiracy. Conspiracy. Parked in front of the station. As she stood there, the passenger side window slowly rolled down and then stopped halfway. And the hand of the person inside popped out. It was holding a mirror tightly, as if they want to make sure she saw it. I think we need, what was it called again? We're gonna need that thing where, like, that car cannot remain, like, 50 feet within Kozue, because it's giving her some severe trauma. Kozue was so terrified, she could barely breathe. She turned around and ran. She ran as fast as she could, as far as she could, down one alley or street after another. Several times she tripped and scraped her knee, but eventually she made it to Miyashita Park. She sat there shivering on a bench until night fell. But she couldn't stay there forever. When she'd waited long enough that she was sure that they must have given up, she headed for the Shibuya station. I bet it's still there. I see the car. It's right there. There it was, the same white car.
やだよ。
She kept running without any idea of where she was going. The tears wouldn't stop coming. Questions were running through her mind. Who was in the white car? Why were they doing this to her? At some point, she'd gotten so close to Shinsen Station again. The car had been waiting for her before, and she didn't want to go there again. She went down a narrow alley she didn't normally use. It was dark. There were no lights. The darkness only amplified her fear. Kozue was already exhausted. She couldn't run away anymore. She wiped away her tears and ran as hard as she could. And when she came out to a large street, the white car was passing right in front of her. Kozue watched it in sheer astonishment. It stopped about 50 meters ahead of her and then put on its flashers. She didn't have the energy left to run again. No matter where she ran, it would follow her. It was always ahead of her, like it was reading her mind. Kozue dropped to her knees and put her hands over her head. She cried out for help inside her mind, but nobody came to help. The white car stayed there, unmoving, until Kozue left crying. The person inside never showed themselves. That is, like, really creepy. Oh, I just realized what the word is. A restraining order, yeah. Nightheart entered the room. Current members, 2. Hey, Nightheart, I've been waiting. We got new nice guy. Oh, New Gen, NG, yeah. What's that gonna do? New Gen, dude, New Gen. New Gen equals nice guy? New Gen, NG, nice guy. It shouldn't be that hard to figure out. This is very similar to the other stuff. But, yeah, let's just go through it real quick. Because it is essentially the same.
あいつらだ。
Oh, wait. I wonder if a difference in this ending will be that when he realizes that the 3 bullies that, you know, attacked him before are dead, he's going to suspect Kozue, like, a lot, and that's going to lead her to just killing a whole bunch of people.
昨日僕に絡んできた。
I gave them my wallet, but they still attacked me anyway. I passed out, and when I woke up, Kozupi was there. The 3 of them were covered in blood. I took my wallet out of my pocket and stared at it. When I woken up, Kozupi was holding my wallet, and she'd given it back to me. Could she be the one who... No, that wasn't right. When I seen them last, their faces were smashed up and covered in blood, but they certainly weren't sliced in half. Okay, so he doesn't think that. I thought he was going to. They'd been killed after Kozupi and I had left. It had to be Shogun. He was taunting me! Alright, I think the rest of this is kind of same, so I'm gonna keep going until there seems to be something new. Oh, here it is. I need somebody to protect me. Somebody other than her. And the first person that came to mind was...
最近渋谷はますます物騒だよ。
That's how the endings were for Ayase and Senna and now Rimi. It was just Rimi's not here. Or I say Rimi, I mean Kozue. It's like Rimi's not here, so I need someone to protect me. It is pick your girl. Ba-da-da-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. And now it is Kozue's turn.
昨日も怖そうなゴキゴキ男たちに拉致されそうになっちゃったから、ドカドカドカーンってしてやったのら。
That terminology she uses still gets me every time. It's so dumb. Kozupi. She was pretty weird, but she was probably pretty stupid. So she might agree to help if I ask her. Oh my god. That reasoning. She was pretty stupid. The first thing I did when I entered the classroom was look at Rimi's seat, but it was empty. Next, I looked for Kozupi. She was sitting in her seat, looking down, making herself as small as possible. Morning, Kozupi. Okay, so that was the same, but now let's see what changes. We didn't look at each other, but we exchanged greetings in our mind. The DQN girls were grinning at me. It had only been a day. The label of creepy otaku loser who made a mess on TV wasn't coming off that quickly. The DQN boys evidently weren't here yet. Those guys would often skip first period. That was more than fine by me. Misumi gave me a one look, but didn't come over. Maybe it was safe to say that we weren't friends anymore. It was always weird that he and I were friends anyway. I headed to my seat and pretended to fall asleep, and then I called out in my mind. Kozupi, can you hear me? I need your help. Someone is trying to kill me. So, I want you to protect me with your D-sword.
それよりたくみちゃん、コズピーのことバカそうって思ってるでしょ。
Shit, you got me. That's exactly what I was thinking. Oh crap, she found me out.
おい、やっぱりたくみちゃんひどいの。それにコズピーはね、誰でもドカバキってするわけじゃないよ。
Is she really a high school student, man?
コズピーはコズピーに悪いことしようとする人だけ。
Kozupi only goes Kersmack and Kapow.
ドカックじゃべきってしてあげるの。
But everybody around me was making fun of me. I'm innocent. I'm just an innocent, upstanding otaku. I haven't done anything wrong. I just want to live my quiet hikikomori life. That word always gets me, man. Hikikomori. Okay. Everybody else just won't leave me alone. Why won't they leave me alone, damn it? Why does all this stuff happen to me? Oh my god, I've gone through this so many times. I didn't do anything wrong. Anything. All the people around me are DQN losers, and it's their fault. And Shogun's too. I'm asking you to protect me from the bad guys. Remember what you said before? That roach people who said mean things to me were worthless?
言ったかも。でもね、コズピーはその将軍さんって人知らないよ。
I know him. He's a kid who looks like an old man. He's in a wheelchair, and he's going to come for me soon. I know it. He's trying to kill me. He's the one who kidnapped Nanami.
そっか。たくみちゃん、大変なのね。
大変? Wait, is that all you got to say?
殺したいけど、殺しちゃダメってセナさんに言われてるのら。
Oh, thank God Senna's here. Crap, that's right. Senna was closer to Kozupi than I was. I gritted my teeth and clenched my fists as I lay on the desk. But there was nobody I could rely on except Kozupi. Senna was kinda scary, and she probably wouldn't do anything to help me anyway. Kozupi was my one chance. I mean, okay. That transition took a little bit longer than I expected. After school, the bell rang and I left the classroom. The DQNs in the class were still trying to make boy psychic jokes and trying to pick a fight with me. They'd gone after me 5 times just today. You'd think that they have something better to do. Wasn't there anything more fun to do with their time than bully some kid? Weren't their lives supposed to be so much more fun and fulfilling than otaku's? Don't make me laugh. I spend all my days in my room playing ESO and imagining exciting delusions with Seraton. That's a much better life than theirs. It was so frustrating. My frustration with the DQNs kept growing. I was cursing them in my mind as I headed home.
たくみさん
Kosubi poked my shoulder from behind.
一緒に帰りましょう。
Did you decide that you were going to protect me?
でもね、たくみさんにプレゼントがあるのレース。
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. A present? Was this a flag?
フラグって何？
Oh, no, nothing. I forgot I can't keep my thoughts to myself around this girl.
というわけでね、この間の憩いの場所にレッツゴーなのら。
Let's go. Rest stop? Did she mean... Oh, it's right here again. Yeah, I knew it. Yeah, not many people came here. It was a staircase after all, but still, I felt uneasy here. The employees here were probably keeping an eye on us, for one thing. And since Kosupi and I talked via telepathy, we didn't speak. We probably looked creepy with the looks on our faces constantly changing as we sat there silently. Good point.
コズピ、キモいかな。
Yeah, since you're sitting there silently.
でも、内緒話を聞かれることはないよ。
Are we going to talk about secret stuff?
しないつもりなの。
Kosupi, the way you talk tires me out.
ごめんなさいなのら。コズピ、疲れるかな。なるべくね、疲れないようにするの。
Just keep going. What's this about a present for me?
そうそう。コズピーはいっつもお友達になった人にプレゼントしてるのレース。
She began to rustle through her bag.
セナさんにもあげたんだよ。
Oh, it's candy.
あ、そうだ。たくみさんはキャンディさんなめなめするかな。
Licky, licky candy. Aw, look at her. When she's not a psycho murderer, she can actually be kinda cute. She offered me a piece of candy. Why did she have to do this in her bag? Why did she have this in her bag? I took it, unwrapped it, and tossed it into my mouth. It tasted like lemon. A delicious sourness filled my mouth. Is this your present?
違うよ。それはね、コズピーがいっつもなめなめするキャンディさんなのら。
Whatever.
プレゼントはこれなの。
Oh, it's jewelry. She took out a set of fancy accessories made from colorful beads. What is that?
ブチュブチュさんです。
Beady beads! Okay!
ブレスとか、携帯のストラップとか、指輪もあるし、ヘアピンもチャームもあるよ。
I don't want that. I don't even use my phone. Did you make these?
違うよ。コズピーが手芸をやろうとすると、ぐちゃぐちゃドカーンってなっちゃうのら。
So who made it?
これはね、ママが作ってくれるんだよ。コズピーがビーズ大好きだから、全部ブチュブチュさんなのら。
Aw, that's kinda cute. She suddenly took my hand. The warmth and softness made my heart skip a beat.
たくみさん、ドキッてしたね。
Well, I wasn't expecting it.
たくみさんがドキッてすると、コズピーもドキンドキンってしちゃうの。
She put one of the bead accessories into my hand. It looked like a phone strap.
はい、これあげますね。
No thanks. Oh, Pia! Damn it, I thought she was gonna say that.
もしかしてコズピー迷惑だった？お友達にはみんなにね、ブチュブチュさんあげてるんだよ。
Now she was crying. This girl sure left to cry. But all these things are for girls to wear. If I had one, I'd just look creepy.
そうだったのな。じゃ、たくみさんはプレゼントされても困っちゃうだけだね。これあげる人、2人目だったのに。ぐっそんなのら。
She gloomily went to take the strap out of my hand, but I put it in my jacket pocket before she could.
たくみさん
I'll take it, after all.
なんで
Nande? You said you gave it to all your friends, but also that I'm the second person you ever given it to. That means Kozubi didn't have any friends. The first person had to be Senna. I was sure of it. So...
登場したのですね
Crap, Kozupi read my mind! To be honest, it was pity, but it was also because you reminded me of myself.
あのねコズピーも同じことを思ったよ
Sorry, this just... Kozupi kinda tires me out.
コズピーが初めて学校行った時たくみさんを見てねすごく辛そうだ
Oh,
コ
whoops.
ズピーも辛かったから一緒だってほっとしたの
The same, huh? I remembered what Senna had told me about Kozubi's past before she came to school. We were both kids who shut ourselves off from the outside world after being exposed to its evils. We avoided crowds. We avoided contact with other people. We were scared and frightened of hiding here in a dimly lit staircase.
ただ普通にね生きたいだけなのにね
I just want a normal life. I am 33 years old. Yeah, my name is Yoshikage Kira and I'm 33 years old. Kozupi said, playing with the accessories in her hands.
お友達作って一緒に遊んだりして一緒にお弁当食べたり一緒にお勉強したり文化祭とかの行事を一緒に頑張ったり一緒に恋のお話をしたりそんなね普通の生活で十分だったのら特別なことなんて何にも望んでなかったよ
Suddenly, the expression disappeared from Kozubi's face. She pulled the strings holding one of the accessories together apart. The beads scattered everywhere and rolled down the stairs. Aw, no! No! I used to always think the same thing. Why was I the only one who bad things happened to? Did I do something wrong?
コズピーはね悪いことしたよ
She stuck out her tongue and the smile came back to her face. Something wrong? Cutting off her classmates' arms or... Nope, that was the right thing.
って願ったもんコズピーに意地悪する人たち全員ぶち殺したいって願っちゃったもん
Kozupi was really messed up. Hey, I can hear
でも
that!
悪いことを願うのは悪いことじゃないよあれね悪いことを願うのが悪いから悪いことを願うのかな悪い
I can't. I can't!
とにかく負の感情は否定されるものじゃないってへんてこなボード持ったおじさんが言ってたのら
Yeah, man with a weird sign. Knows all.
悪いことを願ったからディソードがコズピーの力になってくれるのらディソードがコズピーを守ってくれるのらだからねもう普通なんていらないの
Really? Did you give up on leading a normal life? Are you okay with that? Are you sure you won't regret it?
めんどくさいのは嫌なの世界には悪い人ばっかりだし
Even Senna? Do you think she's a bad person?
セナさんはお友達です悪い人じゃないよ
Her inner voice sounded so happy.
あとねたくみさんもだよ
Okay, you're wrong about that.
ブチブチ友達なのら
Life would be so much easier if I could think like Kozupi did. Or maybe she only ended up like this because her mind had been broken once. My brain didn't work like that. I spent all day complaining, in my head anyway, about the people around me, but in the end, I just wanted somebody to save me. I thought we were the same, but I guess in the end, we're different.
一緒なのら
Kozubi's voice was, for some reason, filled with certainty. She leapt to her feet.
ほいじゃ帰りましょう
She started to run down the stairs. On the last step, she tripped and fell on her face. But that was just like her. Oh, that's just so Kozupi. The Roth building was as crowded as ever. Kozupi walked with one foot dragging slightly behind her, tears in her eyes. You okay?
転ぶのは慣れてるよ
She gave me a tough smile. But her smile quickly froze. She stopped moving. She was looking behind me. I followed her gaze and saw that she was looking at the corner where they sold the mirrors. There were all kinds of mirrors, from little ones to big ones. Kozubi and I were standing right in front of the full-length mirror that was reflecting us. Kozubi looked away. Her smile was still frozen on her face, and quickly started to walk off.
たくみさん、また明日ね。
Her inner voice didn't have the cheerfulness it had a moment ago. Maybe going to the mirror section wasn't a good idea. I left the Roth. Wait, oh, I was so used to him saying the Roth building that when he said I left the Roth, I was like, wait, something's missing. Right after Kozupi, but I couldn't see her anywhere. I didn't plan on walking home with her or anything, but right now, she was all I had to rely on. When I lost sight of her, I started to get nervous, especially since now I was alone in the middle of Shibuya. Just looking at the crowds of people on the street made me sweat. I decided to give up on looking for Kozupi and headed back to the base. Picture! It was a loud and very noticeable sound of a camera shutter. I looked over in the direction it had come from, but nobody there had a camera. Suddenly I realized that sound wasn't coming from a real camera. It was a camera function on the cell phone. That's why it was so loud and clear. But I couldn't see anybody pointing a cell phone at me either. Was I just being oversensitive? Oh no. Now he's being stalked, even though he was already being stalked in his mind. No, probably not. I humiliated myself in front of the entire country at O-Front Building. I keep saying O-Front Building instead of the O-Front Building. I don't know why. It wouldn't be surprising at all if somebody decided to take a photo of me. There's so many people out in the street, but none of them were looking at me, but... Don't look at me! I bit my lip and started to walk. I kept my head down so that nobody would notice me. Another one! Again! Somebody had taken a photo of me again. I could feel them looking at me. It wasn't the gaze of God. It was a gaze filled with malice, and it was close too. I looked around, but nobody was looking at me. Who was it? Stop taking pictures of me. I'll sue you for violating my personal rights. Wait, did it say personality rights? Yeah, it did. But no matter what I said inside my head, nobody was going to hear me, and I was certain I didn't have the courage to say it out loud. That'd only attract more attention. I started to walk again. This time, I went at a faster pace, trying to slip through the crowd. Oh jeez, more sounds. The shutter sounded like they were following me. I could hear what sounded like somebody snickering too. I looked around. Several people were holding up phones at eye level. A middle-aged salaryman, a woman in a suit, a teenage boy, a DQN-looking girl. They all seemed to have nothing in common, but they were all pointing their phones at me. Don't look at me! Don't look at me! I started to run. I couldn't take it anymore. But no matter how much I ran, no matter how much I tried to flee, no matter how much I tried to slip through the gaps in the crowd and get out of here, the sound wouldn't let me go. The gazes followed me. I'd escaped from some only to have the same sounds come at me from the front or the sides. It was like facing an infinitely spawning enemy. When the light was red, I had to stop. I put my hands on my knees and tried to catch my breath. The shutter sounds were still following me. I lowered my gaze and clenched my fists. There was nothing I could do but endure the humiliation. And then I started to wonder, was it really just random chance that so many people were taking my photo? Could that many people want pictures of me? Sure, I was famous, but only in a negative sense. I wasn't the kind of person whose photo you'd want. Most people probably thought I was creepy. Why would they want to take on so many photos? Oh, take so many photos of me, and in such an obvious way? And why only now? What is Shogun's doing? Another one of his attacks? Please, just leave me alone. What was his problem? What did I ever do to him? I wanted to kill him. He was doing this to break me down. He was constantly watching me so that someday he could come and kill me. He was going to make me out to be the new gen killer. He was going to kill me in some horrible way. I want to kill him first. I put my hands to my head. I had a bad headache. But I couldn't feel the gaze of God. All these people were taking my photo, but Shogun's gaze wasn't here. I wanted to kill him. Oh, and silence. Sudden silence. All the clicking shutters stopped, as if somebody had given them all in order. I looked up. And then heard a sound I recognized. This time from right behind me. It wasn't a loud sound. If it had been silent, I would have missed it. I could sense him. Somebody in a wheelchair was right behind me. Somebody? I laughed to myself. I knew exactly who it was. It was him, Shogun! I ran across the street even though the lights were still red. A car honked loudly at me, but stopped just before impact. I ran as fast as I could, not even looking behind me. Shogun's eyes are everywhere. Everywhere, always watching. Can't escape. Even after I got back to the base, I couldn't get the shutter sound out of my head. They kept following me even to the residential area near the base, where there weren't many people out at all. Every single person I passed took out their phone as soon as they saw me and took a photo. They never said, "Let me shake your hand," or "You're creepy," or anything like that. They weren't even grinning. They just took out their phones and photographed me, with a complete flat expression on their face. And then they'd walk away like nothing ever happened. It was bizarre. There was no emotion in it, no hatred, no mockery, no anything. It was mechanical. Like they were dolls that somebody was controlling. I crouched in the corner of my room, gnashing my teeth, hands around my knees. It was his doing. Shogun was behind this. I'd heard the sounds of a wheelchair just once on my way home. I hadn't seen it, but I was sure I heard it. My hands were still shaking. I looked at the clock, and it was almost already 11 at night. I'd been scared out of my wits for almost 5 hours. I let out a deep sigh, and in my head, I cursed him. Die, 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 die! The worst thing about Shogun was that he didn't just come out and try to kill me. His attacks were slow and indirect. I mean, he did come out and you just left him. They were wearing me down, making it so that I was terrified to even go outside. Save me, Kozupi! There was no way I could fight Shogun alone, not without a D-sword. Why wouldn't Kozupi save me? I had to think of some way to get her to protect me. If she could read my mind, then I couldn't lie to her. What about money then? If I paid her, would she come to help me? Even in my base, I heard a strange noise. I gulped and pulled myself into a ball to make myself even smaller, and then I listened carefully to see if I could hear it again. I was hearing things. I had to be hearing things. I wasn't hearing things! It was a wheelchair. I could hear it outside my room. I held my breath. I put my ears to the wall. He was here. He was right outside. And was I imagining things, or did it sound like he was moving little by little? I wasn't imagining things. He was slowly circling around the shipping container. I heard a voice. Shogun's laughter. He was laughing. He was slowly circling my room in the middle of the night, laughing. And that wasn't all. There was more. The sound of a cell phone shutter. Was Shogun taking pictures? Of what? The container? No. It wasn't just Shogun. There were other people too. Not just 2 or 3. There had to be at least 10 people out there. They were all taking photos at once. I could hear the shutter sounds through the walls. Impossible. This was a delusion. It had to be a delusion. If I went outside, I'd see that there was nobody there. I was just hallucinating. Even if the walls were thin, there was no way I could hear the laughter and sounds this clearly. I didn't have the courage to go outside. I was too scared to think. I pulled a blanket over my head, and covering my ears, and sobbing. Stay out, stay out, stay out, stay out! Stay out! Stay out! Stay out! How long was I stuck there like that? It might have been 10 minutes, or it might have been 10 hours. Okay, Is that just gonna be a delusion? I feel like Shogun wouldn't actually be there. It wouldn't make sense. I took the blanket off my head and stood up as quietly as I could. I listened carefully. No sound was coming from outside. The only noise was the sound of my computer. So it had been a hallucination. Yeah, it had to have been. I should go outside to see. I'd see for sure that nobody was there. Even if somebody had been there, they were surely gone now. I stood in front of the door. The padlock was locked from the inside. I took the key and put it in the keyhole. I didn't have the courage to turn it. My heart was pounding like a drum. I was scared, afraid to open it. This might be a Kome's trap. Somebody might be out there waiting to kill me as soon as I open the door. I tried to tell myself that I was being ridiculous, but I failed. I've been tricked and deceived so many times. I didn't want it to happen again. Why wouldn't they all just leave me alone? Why was all this happening to me? Damn it, damn it, damn it! I slammed my fist into the door. It made an incredibly loud noise. My hand hurt. I still couldn't hear anything outside. I couldn't sense anyone out there. Nobody was there. Of course, nobody was there. I bit my lips so hard I drew blood and turned the key in the lock. I opened the door as softly as I could. And no one was there. I peeked my head out to look around. Nobody was there. It was dead quiet. Nothing was moving. No creaking wheelchair, no laughter, no shutter sounds. I couldn't hear a thing.
誰かいますか?
I waited a moment, but there was no answer. Of course there wasn't. Nobody was there, so obviously no one was going to answer. I went outside and tremulously approached the shadow around the base. Nobody was there either. It had been a hallucination. All the stress had driven me crazy. Yeah, that's right. It had to be right. I was wasting my time being scared like this.
僕涙目。もうね、アホかと、バカかと。
I laughed at myself for being such a wimp. I deserved to be laughed at. Now I was tired. But wait. Is he gonna hear more creaking? I went back into my room and looked at my Seroton figure to restore my sanity. Then I sat down at my computer and logged into Frepara. I checked to see if there were any new topics on the Bloodtoon community. Then I checked my friends' updates. Something felt wrong. Something was strange. Oh God. Spider. Oh God. Okay, so does he have a spider on his, like, let's look at the names on the left. So there's Miku Miku, Jingen Ein, Miracle Claudia, Starupiel, Javast, I don't know, Master Chieri, Colatarian, Idomazin, Digitaro, Suicide Girl, Human Flare, Soba Shop Girl, Division Commander, Hazuki-san. But okay, at his email, you can just see a whole bunch of pictures that detail essentially where he lives, and that is extremely creepy. And it says it's by Spider, so we already know who it is. Freepara shows your friends' diaries as a list of updates, but none of the friends that usually posted were on the list. Instead, the list was full of updates from a single friend, all made within a short period of time. The friend's name was Spider. Did I have any friends with that name? Well, I did have over 100 friends, and I certainly didn't remember all their names, so maybe Spider was somebody I knew. Spider had posted close to 15 new updates in the last 30 minutes. Yeah. Oh, they brought the wheelchair. Arriving at the scene. I looked at their titles and gasped. I realized my throat was completely dry. For some reason, I had an intense sensation of deja vu. From the titles, I could tell exactly what was in the articles. I moved the mouse with a shaking hand. I clicked one of the articles. It's gonna show the base.
これって
It was right in front of my building. The article consisted of nothing but a single photo, probably taken with a cell phone. There was no text at all. The photo was from the front of the Kurenai building where I lived. It looked to have been taken at night. No way. I was just being silly. I forced myself to laugh and clicked another one. I screamed, but when I'd seen the title, I'd already known what it would contain already. But knowing in advance didn't stop terror from bubbling up within me. So, I wasn't imagining those sounds. The creaking wheelchair, the laughter, the shutter sounds. They were all real, and somebody had been outside my room taking photos with their cell phone and uploading it. The latest article was titled, "He Appears." The timestamp was 12:14. The time right now was 12:21. It had been uploaded just 7 minutes ago.
嘘だよ。嘘に決まってる。
They really be camping out there for that long. Who was he? Who are they talking about? I didn't want to look, but I had to. I turned back towards the door. I checked to make sure it was still locked. Then I clicked the latest article with trembling fingers. It's gonna be Takumi leaving his container. I was clearly visible in the picture. It was taken right when I gone outside to see if anyone was there. I thought that nobody had been out there, but somebody was. Boom, boom. When Kozue Orihara arrived at school, she was stopped by one of her classmates, Minako Ninomiya, just before she could enter the classroom.
折原、ちょっと話があるんだけど。
There was a clear hostility in her voice. Kozue flinched. It wasn't just Minako who was glaring at her. There were another 5 girls behind her. All of them were her classmates, but she couldn't remember their names.
いいよね。付き合ってくれるでしょ？
I gotta say, I don't know if this is like actually a thing in Japan, but like they made like they made all of the background characters extremely stereotypical. Like extremely. This is a stereotypical, probably female bully. All the DQNs act exactly as you would think they would. They're so generic. She didn't know what to do, so she just stood there. Another girl, not Minako, grabbed her by the shoulder.
ちょっと、なんとか言いなよ。
Kozue started to cry as the girls surrounded her. When the other girls saw this, it only made them angrier.
いちいち泣いてんじゃねえよ。いいからちょっと来なよ。
Kozue tried to refuse. Nothing good was going to happen to her if she went, but they grabbed her by the arm so that she couldn't run. They took her to the roof. Another 10 or so girls were waiting there. Almost every girl in the class was up on the roof. Kozue could barely believe what was happening. She knew exactly what was coming. She could feel the hostility radiating from all of them. Kozue shivered in the face of so many negative delusions. No matter how much she tried to control herself, she couldn't stop crying.
こいつもう泣いてんじゃん。
You know, judging from the title and like just the attitude of these people, I feel like I don't really care what's gonna happen to them, even though I know what's going to happen to them.
うわ、マジ？うざくない？
This was the first time they'd spoken to her since she'd come here. Of course, she knew that the girls in the class didn't like her. She could hear their thoughts whenever she was in the classroom. But this was the first time they'd said those thoughts aloud. She tried to run, but a dozen of girls surrounded her and blocked her path.
逃げようとしてんじゃねえよ。美奈子が話あるんだからさ、ちゃんと聞きな。
Minako was glaring at her, as if spurred on somehow by her classmates' words. Minako was tall, like a model, the exact opposite of tiny Kozue. There's gonna be something about like pretending to be vulnerable so all the guys want to like cuddle her or something. Stealing like the guys in the class. That's probably where it's gonna go. It's gonna be
折
something
原、あん
dumb.
たさ、大輔に色目使ってんじゃないわよ。
Oh, okay. Oh, but that's Daisuke's fault. Kozue couldn't even remember who Daisuke was. But she couldn't say that, so she just shrank back in confusion and fear.
聞いてんの？うざいんだよ、あんた。人の彼氏に手出そうとしてんなよ。
Kozue shook her head as hard as she could. She had no idea what Minako was talking about. Dude, you chose the wrong boyfriend. Do you realize how many people he's trying to bang? And then she finally remembered that Daisuke was the first name of Misumi, one of her classmates. She never tried to seduce him. She knew exactly what he was after and she'd avoided him.
っていうか、前から折原のこと気に入らなかったんだよね。ねえ、なんで喋んないの？可愛いこぶってんの？はっきり言ってうざすぎだし、ムカつくし。それとも、男子とは話せても私たちと話すつもりないって？調子に乗ってんじゃねえよ。
Can't wait for the sword to come out.
なんか言えよ、ブス。
They pulled her hair, slapped her cheek, jabbed her shoulder. She couldn't escape. They wouldn't let her go. Gang beating, bullying, the words flashed through Kozue's mind and terrified her. Save me, Senna! Help me, Takumi! She called out in her mind, but nobody was going to come. This was just like before she came to Tokyo. No matter how much she called out for help, nobody came to help her. She'd just have to endure it. But this wasn't so bad. She could handle this. And then right as she had that thought... What? She stared to hear... Is that supposed to say started or... Because she stared to hear a strange sound doesn't make any sense. So I'm just gonna say she started to hear a strange sound. The expressions vanished from all of her classmates' face, and all of them put their hands into their breast pocket and slowly took something from it, all at once, in a synchronized motion. Oh god, it's gonna be a mirror. It was... hand mirrors. All of them had a different shape, but they all pointed them at Kozue. It was like some kind of bizarre ritual. All the mirrors showed her reflection as she trembled, eyes twitching and spasming. Who are you? Who are you? The nightmares came back. She would cease to be herself. She couldn't stop shaking. She started to thrash her head violently back and forth. Her gaze went from one mirror to another. Her eyes kept switching. A voice's scream echoed from her throat. Oh, vision going blurry. Uh-oh. Okay, so something's definitely weird. It's definitely have to do with that white car that was following her. I'll kill you! I'm just gonna say it once. It's too many times. Dark delusions overtook her mind. The next thing she knew, the D-sword was in her hand. She raised high. The pale red flames running down its body were flashing, as if screaming with joy. It was an awe-inspiring weapon, one that made no effort to conceal its deadliness. A weapon that shattered everything, swallowed everything, and annihilated everything, until only nothingness was left. And now it was no longer a delusion. It was real. Her classmate, who until now had been silently pointing mirrors at her, came back to her senses. But it was too late. Bye-bye! After that, there were many, many screams, but they only lasted a few seconds. Yeah. I don't know what to say. I hurried to school. I looked around carefully to make sure no one was around me. If anyone was following me, I was going to run away as fast as I could. I was already out of breath. My chest was heaving with each step. I kept wiping away the sweat on my forehead, and it kept coming back. I had to get to school. I had to get to school and find some way to force Kozupi to help me. I wanted Kozupi to kill whoever was doing this to me. Kozupi would do it. She was broken after all. I want to kill them. I want to kill them. I want to kill Shogun and all his friends. The ones who had visited the base last night were clearly working for him. They were finally ready to go on the offensive for real. They made me their target, and after wearing me down, they were ready to move in for a merciless kill. I didn't want to die, so I had to kill them first. And again, the sound. The creaking sound I heard many times yesterday, right behind me. I turned around, but nobody was there. There's no wheelchair to be seen anywhere. I wasn't hearing things. I heard it clearly. Was Shogun attacking me again? Oh man, I kind of wonder what started Kozupi's intense fear of mirrors and just identity crisis, because we see that is the crux of why she got a D-sword and how the suffering that she's going through, but I don't know how it happened. I started running. I didn't want to be alone, but it followed me. The sound was always right behind me no matter where I went. Stop it, leave me alone, stay away, don't look at me. I was going crazy. I didn't have the courage to look behind me again. I reached the school gate. The bell hadn't rung yet. I was on the verge of being late, but there were still students around me heading to their classes. Just seeing them made me shrink back. If I didn't go through the gate, I couldn't see Kozupi. I was about to force myself inside when... Uh-oh, the sound, again. This time, it was a cell phone shutter, not a wheelchair. I looked around. Who taking the photo? Nobody was looking at me. Nobody had their phone out. What the hell was going on? I covered my ears and ran as fast as I could. I ran straight into my classroom. I went inside before stopping and turning around. The class's DQNs were sitting near the door. Going in meant looking at them in the eye, so I didn't. Damn it! The world was full of enemies. Everyone was my enemy. Die, all of you, die! I headed back into the hallway, delusions of their horrible deaths filling my mind. Oh, whoa! Well, you won't have to worry about a bunch of the female ones. I had enough time to take a quick glance around the classroom, and Kozupi wasn't there. Actually, there wasn't a single girl in the classroom. It felt really weird. I didn't care. I only cared about where Kozupi was. Why wasn't she here on the one day I needed her? My throat still hurt from all the wheezing, and I was out of breath. Some of the students in the hallway turned to look at me in surprise. Don't look at me! The sound again. I turned around to see 4 DQN boys I never lay eyes on grinning at me. They had their phones pointed in my direction. Don't look at me! I ignored them. I could just have Kozupi kill them later. I created a delusion of it happening. It was such a sweet, pleasant delusion. I wished all of them would just die. I was so sick of this world. I couldn't find Kozupi anywhere. I had no idea where she was. Maybe she wasn't at school today. If that was the case, then what should I do? I didn't think I could handle Shogun's psychological attacks until tomorrow. No matter how strong I tried to be, my knees were still knocking, and if I wasn't careful, I might collapse where I stood. Kozupi, where are you? Where are you? I need your help! I stopped. I heard a voice inside my mind.
コスピのせいじゃない。もうコスピのせいじゃ、助けて。
Kozupi, where are you? I looked around and saw Kozupi crouching in a ball near the entrance at the school. When I saw her, I gasped. Her body was red, like she was covered in blood. No, not like she was covered in blood. She was covered in blood. I almost screamed, but I was too shaken to even do so. Kozupi, snap out of it! Kozupi! I called out, and Kozupi slowly looked up at me. Her eyes were bright red and wet with tears. She grabbed onto my waist.
何を？
たくみさんはコスピの敵味方
What do you mean? I asked, but she just buried her head into my chest and shook it from left to right. The blood on her body stained my uniform. I never really realized how tiny she was. She was so thin, I thought she might break in half. Until she grabbed onto me like this, I never noticed.
僕はコズピーの味方だ。だからコズピーに助けてもらいたい。
I told her everything that I've been thinking. Of course, I arranged it in a way that was most convenient for me, though. Kozupi, you're all I've got.
コスピのこといじめない
I won't. I want you to protect me from the people who want to bully me.
コスピは守れないよ
But you've got a D-sword.
だってあの子のことうまく扱えないぽ
By her, do you mean the D-sword? Kozupi nodded at my question, and then she began to shiver.
だからねさっきのドカバキクシャーはコスピのせいじゃ
The curb bam swing was. Oh my god. I mean, the moment the girl called out to her, I was like, oh god. We saw what the title was, and I knew that they were not gonna make it out of that roof, at least uninjured. Very, very likely dead. And like we saw like how unhinged Kozupi could be and how willing she is to kill in other routes. So I knew that she would just let loose up there. Oh man. Oh. But like that, in addition to just her being unhinged, they were really like pushing all the wrong buttons. It was not just bullying, it was also triggering her PTSD, which, well, to be granted, it wasn't from their own will that they did that, because they were clearly controlled, but everything just lined up to you know, Kozupi pulling out the sword. What kind of delusion did we manifest this time? The impact came out of nowhere. A vision like a flashback exploded into my brain. School, the roof, red, a sea of blood, the overpowering smell of blood, dozens of chunks of meat lying on the ground, ripped apart so much you couldn't tell that they were what they were before. Kozupi standing in the middle of the sea of blood, panting, the D-sword in her hand. I came back to my senses. What did I just see? That was the school's roof, I could tell that much. But what was that? Just a delusion? It felt like a little different than usual. Maybe it was Kozupi's delusion and not mine. Senna said that gigalomaniacs could see other people's negative delusions. And there was also the dark blood all over Kozupi's body as she clung to me. It still wasn't dry. She didn't seem to be in pain, so she probably wasn't hurt. The blood wasn't Kozupi's then. I tried to think about what that could cause her to be soaked with all this blood. This wasn't normal. It wasn't normal at all. Whose blood was this? Kozupi, whose blood is this?
コズピをね、いじめた人たち。
Her head was slumped forward. She slowly pushed away from me and awkwardly looked away. She had her index finger to her lips like she was sulking, or maybe like she was licking the blood on her hand. Is that your blood?
他人の血だよ。
Something felt very, very wrong. Kosupi, if that's true, do you think you maybe went a little too far? The first bell rang. It was already time for homeroom to start. All the other students had already gone inside and it was just the two of us out here. So like, can nobody else see the blood-covered child? I worked up the courage to go back to the classroom. I quietly took a look through the window, making sure nobody could see me. I couldn't believe it. Homeroom had started. The teacher was there. But there wasn't a single girl inside the class. No. I had to make sure. I had to make sure it was just a delusion. I ran up the stairs to the roof and flung open the door. The first thing I saw was a dreary blue sky, and then I looked down. A brilliant red. A literal sea of blood. I threw up on the spot from a mix of terror, physical revulsion, and the sheer stench.
たくみさんはコズピーの味方だよね。
I don't think I have a choice anymore. I gasped. I turned around and Kosupi was standing there. She had tears in her eyes, but she was looking at me, covered in blood, and smiling innocently. Well then. I ran. I was terrified of Kosupi, and how could she smile like that? I was terrified of how she could kill so brutally. Nothing made sense. I mean, didn't you want that? You literally imagined it in your mind. I couldn't get what I'd just seen on the roof out of my head. The scene kept playing inside my mind, and each time, the vomit came up in my throat, and I had to stop myself from heaving it out. I ran through the school with no idea of where I was going. Homeroom had started, and there were no students in the hallways. Kosupi didn't follow. What should I do? What should I do? Was I running the right move? Wait, whoa. Oh, running the right move. I guess that is a term, yeah. Should I have stayed with Kosupi? What if running made her think I was an enemy? If she thought I was an enemy, would she do to me what she did to the girls on the roof? Please, no, no. But then, what was I supposed to do? Even if I went back, I wouldn't have any idea what to say to her. I ran, staggering, almost tripping several times. When I rounded a corner, I could barely avoid running into someone. Oh, it's Misumi. It was Misumi and the DQN boys who had been making fun of me. Misumi looked away, awkwardly, while the DQNs grinned and blocked my path.
Yo, Espa. お前、ちょっと超能力使ってくんな。
Not the time, so you're gonna die. I bit down hard on my lip. I didn't look him in the eye. If I did, he'd punch me. The DQN didn't take out his phone. If he had, I might have snapped and killed him like Kosupi.
クラスの女子が授業をボイコットしたみたいだよ。誰も来ねえから、俺ら今さ。でもだるいと思うね。ミスミやミナコが心配みてえだけどよ。どうせ集団でサボってるだけだろ。そう思うよな、エスパー。
I've never seen Misumi worry about his girlfriend. I didn't answer. He kicked me in the stomach.
おい、仕方してんじゃねえよ。やめろよ。
Misumi spoke for the first time. The DQN was still trying to hurt me, but Misumi stopped him.
たく、ミナコ見なかったか。チャイム鳴るまでいたんだけどよ。今はメールしても電話しても帰ってこねえんだ。
I wonder if he's gonna tell him. I couldn't tell him. I couldn't tell him what I'd seen on the roof. I didn't know for sure who Minako was, but it was probably his current girlfriend. Was she one of the bodies up on the roof then? And what about Rimi? Did Kozupi kill Rimi too? No, that was impossible. Rimi had been missing for a while now. She hadn't been coming to school. And why was I worried about Rimi right now? Why was I still expecting anything from her? She was never coming back for me, right?
なあ、エスパー。お前なんで服に血がついてんだ？
I froze. The blood was from when Kozupi had grabbed onto me. I had stained the bottom of my shirt. Misumi gasped in surprise.
タク、何かあったのか？
何もないよ。
I turned around and ran. I could hear him calling after me, but I ignored it. I ran down the stairs. But I was in such a confused hurry state that I tripped and fell, rolling down the stairs all the way to the landing. I didn't have the strength to get up again. Was I never going to have a single moment of peace again? Why did all these impossible things keep happening to me?
タク、
Oh, Rimi's here. Okay. Someone said my name. There's only one girl that would call me that. I looked up and saw that someone was offering me a hand again.
どうしたの？そんなに慌てて。どこか怪我してない？
Alright, this is the first time we get to see Rimi in this route after Kozupi's ending started. I think I want to take a break from here. Oh man, Kozupi really went on a rampage. I don't blame her since they were really pushing her, but oh, I didn't expect her. Like, part of me kind of doesn't expect her to actually go through with it, and the fact that she actually did. Oh man, I mean, I expected Kozupi's ending to be very trauma-inducing, especially for Kozupi, but that was honestly that was within the realm of what I expected. But I will say I'm still surprised at how much I expected. Oh man, oh, she's really, I don't know how they're gonna recover from this. Are they gonna make everything a delusion? Do girls just not exist in this class anymore? She straight up killed them. So yeah, well, we'll finish Kozupi's ending next time. Until then, I will be seeing you. See ya!